What's up with it, guys? We should be starting here pretty soon. What's up, Zuma? Yeah, we'll see. I haven't really gotten to test like damage-wise that much Kara yet. I've gotten to I've run Kara once on this tune, but I was actually healing, so I didn't get a real good trial of like DPSing all the fights. So see how it goes. So basically, anytime there's elements on target, it's always more damage to use Starfire. So basically, without elements, Wrath and Insect Swarm actually end up doing pretty well. But most all the time in like a raid setting, you're gonna have Curse of Elements. The other thing that's kind of hard to judge is on like trash and stuff, if the actual full duration of the dots don't go off. So if Insect Swarm doesn't basically fall off by itself, it's not worth the cost at all. So that's kind of hard, like on trash, like even though Insect Swarm at earlier levels, it's like good DPS if you take all the numbers and put it together, but it lasts for 12 seconds. And so like a lot of these mobs won't last 12 seconds, so it can kind of be a wasted global, or you have to do it like real early on like an off, you know, like say we're killing this guy and like you want to go ahead and cast it on the ads or something. You can do that. I think it's still going to have a really big place in our overall gameplay. Like anytime there's movement or there's like other things, like I'm using it in the opener to kind of make sure I don't rip threat and stuff like that. But for like max DPS, I think it's going to be Starfire spam and then Moonfiring to Karazhan. Like right there's by habit, like I throw up my dots, but like he's going to die before Insect Swarm gets like halfway through, so it's like that wasn't really like a good use of a global. I have to make it more like a mental note to basically just cast Wrath whenever stuff's low. Oh shit. Those are like really good Druid tanking boots with a high armor. This is actually pretty good Druid stuff too. So we're at stat-wise, we're at a 9% hit, plus we have our 4% from talents, and then with the flask, we're at basically 930 spell power with this setup with the gear. You can see our crit is around 22%. I should go ahead and hurricane here. I don't have this macro in beta. How is the is like the frame rate and audio and all that stuff? I know we had some issues when I was trying to do it with Nax. Does everything look clear on your guys' end? This 10 minutes good at least? Okay, I'm glad it's not. It was really bad. I changed to have OBS run as admin, and I think that fixed it maybe? I don't know. Hey, what's up with A? It's also kind of shitty. I don't have an elemental shaman, which is usually is a pretty massive DPS increase because it's like a, what is it, like 800 or it's like 100 something from the totem. Ooh, big ring. I don't think that's an upgrade really for us. Should we take it anyway? Ooh, scope. $22 in. I don't think it's worth it though. Whatever, it's beta. Make sure I have an empty space. Of course. We won it and then my bags are full, so I have to run back over there. This is a preview of my future where you beat me on DPS each week. Yeah, right, dude. Hey, I had to battle res that time. And, you know, whatever else. Add the fairy fire. I hope we get to a point though where the fairy fire buff isn't necessarily needed, because having to spend that global every so often is kind of annoying. At least it lasts for a while, it lasts for 40 seconds, but still, it's, I don't know, kind of sucks. Look at that fat mage deeps. Yeah, mage did good damage on that first fight. Oh, what's up, Shosh? How you doing? Been a minute. I don't mind. I like the mentality of the support class. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that for sure. But it's fun playing the support class and then also out DPSing people. Oh. Grab him, Tank. Grab him. Grab him. He's just hanging me out to dry, man. Still smashing retail? No, not lately. So I've been basically the last like 2 or 3 weeks I went out of town for a little while, and then when I got back, I basically have been doing Nax to try and get tier 3, and then doing like G bids just to try and get some gold for TBC. And there's honestly just not a lot to do for me in retail at this point. Oh, I didn't have bark skin up there. That sucks. It's like, I mean, like there's like PvP, but that's kind of really all I do in retail. So it just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of boring at this point a little bit. Like hop on, and then it's like after like 10 minutes I'm like, I don't really know what I should do right now when I log off. I wish that wasn't the case. Just there's not any content in there that's particularly interesting right now to me. Oh, you think you're gonna talk shit to the Moonkin and TBC? Well, you know what? You get to go into the group that doesn't have Moonkin aura. How about that, huh? Was it worth it? Nope, too late. You're banished to the melee group for all of TBC. What's up, VRD? Do you know what's the profession that I need to have as Moonkin? You don't really need to have anything, especially as we get later into the expansion. What I'm tailoring in engineering on my actual character, and I'm gonna keep both of those professions. Tailoring, there's 2 sets that you can make early that are gonna be very, very good initially, but it's also going to kind of take a while to craft enough of the materials to get them. Engineering, I don't think is going to have a ton of value, but you don't need everyone to have drums. But leatherworking, even regardless of the drums or not, leatherworking has some very good recipes later on. I don't know if they're going to be on our BIS list or not. I haven't gone that far ahead, but I mean, honestly, anything, I would say tailoring is going to give you a little bit of an edge early on, just being able to use those sets. But outside of that, it's not really a huge deal either way. Like drums has a cooldown now, so leatherworking isn't isn't a necessity, and so you can kind of pick any of the professions that you really want. Tailoring will just have a pretty strong advantage probably for the first phase of TBC, because you're going to be able to stack 2 different sets, but it's a ton of material to get that. So I'm not, that's why I don't know how much value it's going to be, how good it's going to be compared to something like tier 4, and if it takes you 4 weeks to make the set or something, unless you're just trying to straight up buy the gear, then tailoring is not going to have as much value. But if you're trying to min-max, go tailoring. Dude, why do I keep getting aggro? This guy just needs to mark skull. If he's not marking anything, like I don't really know what to attack. You say tailoring is going to be between 6 to 8k gold to buy the set. Yeah, it's like to buy it, you obviously can buy it, but I'm meaning more just like being able to craft it yourself. I think it's going to be a 2-day cooldown, I think, on the cloths. But I think if you spec into Spellfire, I think you get 2 cloths per cooldown. I think that's how they all work. I could be mistaken on that though. But we'll have to see. That's why, like, I'm gonna try to get that set, but I also don't know if I'll be able to get it early because I don't want to spend a bunch of gold on that. That will be kind of like not a very exciting purchase. So I think it'll be Tailor Herbalism. There's nothing wrong with Tailor Herbalism, man. Druids are such a good, like, I literally started leveling up a 2nd Druid because I think I'll have it as like a gatherer. It's herbing and mining. I don't know how early on I'll level that character up, but that's kind of like my big picture plan. Is Wrath spamming the way to go in TBC? No, it's not. So there's some kind of, like, people have said some stuff about what they have found in TBC and stuff so far, and there's like a thing about like Wrath being so much stronger now and blah 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 blah. There's a lot of math behind it, but the short version is that if the target does not have cursive elements, Wrath arguably can do better at lower spell power thresholds. But once you start getting into higher spell power thresholds, then Starfire is just better. And then as soon as you throw in cursive elements into the equation, it completely like swings it. But there's a bunch of factors, right? Because at certain crit ratings, like depending on how much crit you have and how many Nature Grace procs you get, is in turn going to make Starfire significantly more valuable, because Wrath overall isn't actually really gaining any DPS from Nature's Grace. So there's things like that. So like, for example, if you're buffed and in a group where you have 30% crit, Starfire is going to be giving you more value than Wrath is, just because you're going to be able to get more casts off over a longer fight. But you'll see I do it on a lot of like these trash tracks, like right here, the target doesn't have cursive elements. And so I do spam Wrath a lot of times on these shorter pulls, just because it's more likely I'm able to kind of like get a good chunk of damage off. I think leatherworking is going to be really helpful to get a raid spot even after the nerf. Yeah, that is true. It definitely is going to have value, and like I said, I remember there being really good patterns in Sunwell, and I think even some in Black Temple that were very good. And like obviously if you're a mage you can't use them, but I remember there being like some really good caster gloves and stuff. I don't know if it's better than other options in the raid, but I do know just in general there are some good recipes, and there's going to be some value just to have it. But yeah, that is a good point. Like if you're like, oh, whatever, balanced druid looking for group, with drums. Like that's definitely gonna have some value for sure. I'm booming in Classic and was just kind of wondering how they feel in TBC because I didn't get into the beta. They feel amazing in TBC by comparison. Like in Classic, it is, your mana bar is so noticeably dropping as you're DPSing, right? And let me see if I can get it. And in TBC, we have enough mana regen, you know, between our talents. We don't have to shift out of form to innervate, which is really big. Because that's like a pretty big DPS loss, especially on shorter fights. If you ever had to innervate, like losing 2 globals, like because you're already using 1 to cast it, and then you'd have to use another one to shift back. So not having to waste that global is a really big quality life change. Trees also feels really good. In certain situations, like this fight, it'll be good. For example, if I wait and pop it on Morose, like right after he vanishes, where I know he's not gonna like, you know, disappear immediately. If you can get like good uptime with your trees, they're pretty strong. But overall, it feels good. The one thing what I've tried to really spend the most time doing, honestly, on the beta was trying to mess with PvP and try and figure out a scenario of being able to play like balanced DPS and PvP and not play resto. So that's kind of the main focus of what I tested on beta. I had someone ask in whatever that most recent upload that I did, they're asking about like my PvE build, because I was just expect like some random build on the character, on the beta character I was showing, but this is the PvE build. So you have improved Thorns, and you have improved Fairy Fire, and you also have improved Mark of the Wild. So if you guys don't have like a Resto Druid in the group, you can basically bring everything with the exception of Leader of the Pack, basically, for your group, which is pretty big. A lot of utility, or a lot of just overall benefit that you're gaining from all of those things together. What's up, Anti-Person? How you doing, man? Train Summon's a thing now. Yeah, so it's this Force of Nature. You'll see it on this boss. Once we kill the ads, I'll do it on the main boss. We get three little trees spawn. Oh, we didn't look at the damage. Let's see what let's look on attunement, because we casted him there. It didn't register at all. That's weird. I think they pulled. No, they did. Why did he lust right then? I don't think he will. Oh no, he literally just vanished as I casted him. See, so this is another issue, is the trees will kind of bug out if they go off of a target like passive. They have a hard time getting back on him. So I have to like run, and I think what triggers them is me taking damage. I think is what the variable is. But you see, like, they're standing there like next to me for a period of time. It's like kind of shitty. But we'll see. I don't know why they didn't show up. Why? Oh no, dude, I need to fix that. I have a macro where it's a help harm macro, but because of in TBC it changed to where it will like auto cancel your form for you if it's a spell that's not supposed to be casted in that form, which most of the time that would be helpful, but like if you drop combat or, you know, target vanishes or something, it'll like pull you out of form unintentionally, which sucks. Resist. We still have one ad to kill after this. So I don't think it's worth refreshing dots here because it's not going to live long enough. So let's see. Morose. I don't know if it messes up. Oh yeah. So 4,500 there. Oh, I think it was on this fight. I just was not miss. Yeah. So here, melee, 5,500. So that sounds kind of like lackluster, just based on those numbers. But if you think about it, like, so my Starfire is critting for around 4,500. So it's basically like getting a free guaranteed 1 or 1.5 or 2 Starfire crits on like a boss fight. They do physical damage, so they scale based off of like armor and stuff on the boss. So certain bosses, what the fuck? That's really good. That's really good. Oh no. Try and kill those small heads. You re-rolled, Shosh? You're gonna play Mage in TBC? Yeah, Mage looks fun. They're very, very good. That's I think if you're switching from like not wanting to play balance but wanting kind of a similar play style, that's a good decision. Like, they still have decent mobility. You know, they're pretty fun. Their burst is insane so far though on TBC. It's proximity. I swear though, I don't think that the trees are proximity. Like, I feel like I've had times where I'm like, you know, this far away or even like closer, like me to diamond, and they won't attack what I'm attacking. But if this thing attacks me, they turn and attack it. So they're on like defensive where they won't randomly aggro, but they're helping me if something attacks me, which kind of makes sense. But it just also leaves for a bunch of really shitty scenarios because they just kind of don't attack. So if a target like vanishes like that in Morose, or, you know, whatever, they get CC'd or have some kind of RP thing or something, then it's like afterwards your trees just like have no idea what to do. They stand by you. You missed the trance? Yeah, I'll cast them again here though. Cooldown's up. I need to be better about using them more often. Caught in between Ellie Shaman or Moonkin, both of those are very, very good. Ellie Shaman seem insanely strong, and like, it's kind of, I think, even more so than it'll be. We'll have to see, but shamans are like, shaman totems are just so insanely good that it's pretty easy to get spots as a shaman, just because people want the totems. Ellie Shaman was what I originally played in BC. It was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, the target vanishes. GG. Yeah, it's. We'll see. I could see them making maybe like a smarter AI to it. Like, they just did this stuff for retail, right? Where they changed like demonology warlocks to have their pets, you know, focus what they're attacking. I don't know why they couldn't implement that in TBC. And maybe people would act like that's like this huge buff and they wouldn't want it, but I mean, all things considered, they obviously have the ability to make that kind of an AI because they just did that change a few months back in retail. But we'll see. But we're doing good damage-wise. We get like first or second on Morose. I think we got third on Huntsman. So, I mean, you can kind of see where we're keeping up. We have some decent gear. I also don't have a meta gem in this helm. It's a good helm, but I don't have a meta gem in it. So, I don't know. I know the meta gems are obviously very good. I don't know what kind of a DPS loss that is. I mean, we are critting a good amount, and I think it's 3% crit that you gain from the meta gem. like crit damage. Are they on global cooldown? The trees? Yeah, they are. I should have popped them there. I'm so used to like trying to hold them just because, you know, they're kind of like a longer cooldown. I should use them. I could use them way more often. But for example, like Maiden is an example of a fight that they are not really that good on because of the Consecrate. They'll die pretty quickly. So we'll see. We'll see how much damage we get out of them. But the point, what I was trying to type to earlier, Zuma, is if you didn't want them and you took 1 point out of here, there's not anything else that you're going to get that's going to give you any kind of advantage in like a PvE situation. So I don't know that if you're going full balance, I don't know that I would play a spec that doesn't have them, because they do actually feel really strong in PvP, and that's the only reason I could think of maybe picking a different point is for some kind of PvP value. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure people will kind of get creative with some different ideas for use cases of them, or some other builds maybe that don't have them, but to me, they just seem really worth it. They just do so much damage in the right situation for a free global. And the other issue is like, if in a perfect world, you'd be like, oh, well, if I don't take trees, if I don't get my bottom talent, I can get nature swiftness, right? Or you'd think there'd be some kind of split that you can do like that. But what happens is you either have to give up, one of these down here. You have to like give up points in this. I don't know exactly how many. I think you could go build. There's like a PvP build I did, and I was able to basically do that. But you end up having to basically, I think, 4 points out of either of these, and you can't get improved fairy fire. So you just end up losing like a lot of points to try and make that work. Here, I'll cast the trees here. So like even there, they're up for a little bit of an extra duration, but you can see they did 5k damage, or 22% of my damage there. And it's very likely that if you use them in PvP situations, that same kind of scenario happens. They just do so much damage in a short window for PvP. Dude, am I dead? See, that's my help arm macro. So I have to change that. I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer that works like that, because I've gotten it so used to using it the way it is in Classic. So I'm gonna have to kind of redo some of these macros to make them work. Yeah, to use them right, it's like a higher skill cap. Yeah, that's the thing I really like about them, is they're like a very unique ability. You know, it's just one of those things. If you could basically just not pick that talent and get, you know, trade that talent for another impactful talent, I would say it probably makes more sense to be able to get like Feral Charge or Nature Swiftness or something that has a little more kind of reliability, I would say. But you don't have that option, so it's like, well, you can get like 1 point in improved Nature's Grasp. It's like that's not worth it at all, to me, in my opinion. We'll see. So far, most every group I've been in wipes on Maiden a couple times because people stand too close together for the chain lightning. See how we do. I don't have like big wigs or anything like that, so I'm gonna basically just be having to try and kind of guess when she's gonna cast Repentance. One thing I don't like is the change they do in TBC where your weapon gets really tiny when you're in Moonkin form. Looks kind of stupid. I don't know why that, like, Classic isn't like this. I don't know why it's like this. Like, why would they have that change made? It's really dumb. I don't have any more oils, I don't think, do I? That is one thing. The weapon oils, I believe, last an hour in TVC, which will be nice. See how long trees last. I'm gonna have to do like one more cast and then run in for Repentance. I don't think I can even get Wrath off in here. Should be soon. Wait, didn't she? Did she cast it? Oh, it says 0 seconds, right? Someone's spamming that right now. Yeah, there it is. Now's our time. So it would be ideal, obviously, to have boss mods there, because we wasted a good, 10 seconds or so, probably. Kind of caught back up a little bit. Lots of good feral gear in Kara. Lots of good feral gear. Treat says shackle pull, and I don't know, did he resist? I don't know what happened. I'm dead. This druid is like determined to inspect every single person before he like lets him stay in the group. I wonder if that means they passed the gear check. So you see, the reason I'm individually buffing is that it actually doesn't give us the max rank of Gift of the Wild. So you'll see this one says attributes by 16, and my max rank is actually attributes by 18. So the oops, sorry, hit the mic. The rank of Gift of the Wild is less than whatever rank that's the equivalent for max rank. So another really annoying beta test thing, 'cause it's like that's all it's doing is just making stuff more bigger pain in the ass, because I'm assuming we're gonna have access to this. But it's like, instead of being able to raid buff and have max, max buffs out, you have to individually buff people. I don't know, is he trying to like leave these guys in the group? Wow, there's nothing I can do there, dude. Probably has to be on second threat. What's up, Jessica? What's up, Woomy? Just doing some Kara. I didn't really get to do this as DPS the last time I ran it last week, and they have the reset is like set like it is in normal WoW, where it's a week long. So it's like I healed Kara once on this character, and then I didn't get actually DPS it. So this is our first actual Moonkin playthrough. But we're doing okay so far, DPS wise. We're hanging in there, and I definitely feel like a lot of this gear is not optimized. I'm curious what kind of DPS difference like the gear we have, like that I'm using right now, would be compared to the tailoring sets, for example. I don't know what kind of damage difference it is. Stand in these little lights, you get a damage buff. I think it's like 20%. Yeah. Starting to get pretty excited. It's gonna be fun, man. TBC is like a very good state of the game overall. The raids, I think, are really, really enjoyable. Like, I could see running Kara on, I mean, at least initially when this comes out, I could see running it 3 or 4 times a week and, you know, not getting super sick of it. It's a really fun raid. And the tier 4 to me is just such a nostalgic tier set. Like, that was like the first good gear I ever like really got in this game on any character. This guy's not marking stuff, and so I keep just attacking what he's obviously off tanking, and the other paladin's not doing that much really, doesn't seem. Paladins usually should be doing like a ton of DPS. They do so much damage in here. So one thing that's an interesting little tidbit here to know is that virtually all the mobs in here are undead. And so paladins have Holy Wrath, and there's one other one that's like a exorcism is what it's called. But those abilities both do a ton of damage, especially if you're playing like Prot, where you have a good amount of spell power. So their Prot Pallies are actually incredibly strong in Kara specifically because there's so many undead mobs. I started playing and did my first raid this morning. My guild was so nice to me. That's good. It's good that you're not in a guild full of jerks. Which raid was it? Where'd you get working details on beta? So you have to go to Curse Forge's website. Curse Forge. It's like a very like known. I don't know how long you've been playing Zuma, but that's like a very, very known website that you used to use for add-ons before WoW Up. And so you can download there. There's a little drop-down menu though. If you go to details, there's a category that you can drop down, and it lets you pick which patch. And you have to pick TBC beta patch or TBC like patch 2.4. There's a specific like TBC patch, and you just have to click that one, and then you can download it, and then you just have to install it like the old school ones. Have you done that before? You have to like open the folder and go to interface and add-ons. If not, I can show you real quick. It's pretty easy, but it's the way you used to have to deal with add-ons. BWL is a fun raid. I like BWL a lot. I actually did BWL earlier today as well with my druid. I was a Healy boy though. It was real disappointing. We had there's a BWLG bid, but we didn't really get any exciting pieces of gear, and so payout was only like 115 gold. Kind of sucked. I'll get some kind of like healer bonus, but I think it's only gonna be like 10 gold. It's gonna be nothing. And then I ran BWL yesterday. We got a 550 gold payout, so it's just like literally 5 times the value. Yeah, cool. Yeah, let me know if you have questions. That's all I did get this to work though. But it's a really good test. I tried, so I did like 3 or 4 different kind of setups. I did on the target dummies. I did basically only Moonfire and Starfire. I did like full dots and spamming Starfire. I did full dots spamming Wrath. I did Moonfire and Wrath. Like I was trying to test all the different kind of combinations to see which ones would do the most damage. And it was either between Full dot, maintaining, and Moonfire only were basically tied. And the big thing, I think, I don't have Atlas loot on this on the beta, but the big thing is the Spellfire set is arcane damage only. So if that's the case, then I think Moonfire and Starfire only are going to be your go-to if you're using that gear. And I think that's going to be our highest like DPS output potential, at least early on. We'll see. I think you pretty much always use the tier stuff after that. But you see I have 2 pieces of tier 4, but the 4 piece for tier 4 is just Innervate cooldown reduce, which isn't that big a deal. Oh, I haven't actually done this one yet. How does this work? We just kill one at a time? Oh no, we don't. I've gotten the Big Bad Wolf, and I've gotten Romeo and Juliet. I haven't gotten this fight yet. I don't really know. I don't know if this is the right thing we're doing, but we're doing it. I can battle res this guy. Renovate myself. Refresh dots. Just gonna dot everything. Potion here as well. The mana basically does seem like a non-issue for the most part. Like if you look at most all these other classes, everyone's kind of like low-ish on mana. So it doesn't feel like we're at like a super disadvantage when it comes to mana. I definitely could have also mana potted earlier there and had it back up probably here again towards the end of that fight. Oh, we're not done? I definitely thought we were done. Just running around talking. But you see on that, so the first 4 we were top damage there. I think it was like around 970 DPS. It seems like in a 25 raid where you can reliably have virtually all the buffs that you would want, that most DPS are around like 1,000, doing like 1,000 DPS. Ooh, Legacy, man. I had this on my Shaman back in the day. What a cool axe, man. Some nostalgia there for sure. I feel like this thumbnail thing is a little bit different. It seems like a much like higher resolution little icon. Okay. Oh, there's actually a path there. Oh my god. I'm leaving him. Oh, he's just pulling him and dying. Well, that's actually not a bad idea. That'll be quicker. We can actually do that, I think, and just zone in on the other side. Good call, random guy. I think he's ignoring chat. I'm not ignoring chat. I'm just, I haven't done this enough times lately to be able to do it and not really pay attention. I'm really kind of focus. This was Wizard of Oz. I know it's Wizard of Oz. Loopy. I know that's what it is. I haven't done that fight yet though, because it's random every time. Wait, Wummy, are you actually going to play a Paladin in pre-patch? Are you joking? How do you think mana will be if you have full Spellfire and Spell Strike? It's definitely going to be worse, for sure. That's part of the reason why I don't know if it's going to be better, because it has less stats, and we actually gain a good amount from Spirit, more so than we do in Classic, because of Dream State. Also, like being able to have basically Reflection, but it's called Intensity now, and Dream State as an added bonus is really big. But this is obviously based on just stats. So same with Lunar Guidance is based on stats. Wrath of Cenarius is strictly based off your spell power, so it's gonna be hard to see. Like it's gonna be really hard to tell, because just looking at the raw values isn't super helpful. We kind of need to have all the raw values with talents and like full raid buffs, what kind of mana you're at, what kind of health you're at. It's definitely low when it comes to stats, though. We'll have to see. Yeah, I used Innervate on that last fight. How long does card take when it's on farm? About an hour and a half, maybe. If everyone's in like full tier 4, you could probably do it in about an hour. Down hit 60, but I'll try for shit. So that's cool that you're gonna play one though. I mean, everyone's gonna be playing paladins. Like even if you made a different alt, there's gonna be so many dungeon groups, because it's gonna be just 4 paladins in every group trying to just level as fast as possible. Leaning towards building a 29 healer again. I don't know what the queue times are now though, because like queue times for BGs are pretty long if you're max level. So I feel like playing them right now, like if people are focused on any kind of like raid content or anything, it'd be something you could only play like in specific times and not have 30-minute queues. That's really my biggest hesitation to playing them, is I don't know what the queue times are like, or because if you have, you know, 100 people on the server that are all twinks in that bracket that play pretty often, then it'd be fine. It's like you're gonna always have games going on, but I don't know how populated it is on the twink brackets at different levels. 19's popped often enough. I think there's way more 19 twinks than 29 twinks though, because of the time investment. Like I would make a 19 twink just because you only have to spend like very little time leveling. It's mostly just getting gear. But also 29 I feel like is a much more fun bracket. It'd be interesting too in TBC. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of like twink brackets in TBC, because you have better talents. Let me I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, guys. The tank said he's like be right back 2 minutes, so I'll leave you with the dancing for a second. All right, we're back. Yeah, he said bio. I'm surprised there's so many of you guys on Twitch. Hi, back. I'm Ryan. So even on Maiden, our Treant still did 3,400 damage. I mean, to me, it's just worth it because it doesn't go onto your threat table, and even that's like a pretty AoE intensive fight where that's like a not ideal fight for him. But it's still basically like a free instant cast Starfire in value. I mean, it's not great, it's every 3 minutes, but like imagine if you had a talent that was a 3-minute cooldown and like you pressed it and it said on your next Starfire is instant cast. Like people would take that talent all the time. It's just kind of in a different form. Wait, why isn't it showing the other fight? Do they consider it like trash or something? It probably bugs out because it doesn't know how to manage the Opera event fight. Damn, I wanted to look at those numbers. Why? Why what? I didn't look at that quick enough to know exactly what you're referring to, Jessica. Let's get our 30-minute buffs out. Oops. That's happened a couple times too. There's some combination of buttons I'm hitting. I am changing my action bars. Not used to not having bartender. Oh, surprised how many people are on Twitch. Well, just because usually most people are just watching on YouTube. Like in the past when I've streamed on, I'll stream like via restream, so I'm streaming on both. But there's usually like 2 people on Twitch. There's like no one watches on Twitch. Oh my god, dude. Our healer's just like AFK. We'll see. I'm curious how Resto Druid's gonna feel. It feels a little bit weird. So I did play like a good chunk of trying Tree of Life, and it feels kind of weird. Like right now in Heroics, people take so much damage that the hots aren't really a good effective way of keeping people alive because you kind of constantly have to be like burst healing people. No, is this group gonna fall apart? Why is this guy AFK? But I think like in like 5-man dungeons, this whole like Tree of Life setup is kind of a little bit weird feeling. But in raids, obviously it's really good because it makes you're able to just like throw rejuves and stuff on everyone, and there's a lot more raid damage and like just raid mechanics and stuff in general in TBC. But there's a fun build that I was messing with where you basically get Lunar Guidance. You can actually even pick up Dream State, I think. And then there's talents in the Resto Tree that are... This one, Tranquil Spirit, is only relevant to your Healing Touch and to your Tranquility. So if you're going like a heal over time build, it has no value. And then this improved or empowered Healing Touches increase your Healing Touch bonus healing that you get by 20%. And if you have Lunar Guidance, you have like bonus spell damage and healing. So it's like a really kind of interesting Healing Touch build. but I didn't really get to test it that much. It's kind of cool because you can still use your hots. It's not like if you play that build you can't use hots, or if you don't have tree form you can't use hots. You can still use your hots. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see. I think what I'll end up doing though is basically going this talent build initially for PvP. I mean, sorry, for PvE, not for PvP. But the only difference is in this row, I would take Naturalist, because then I have improved healing touch to be able just to heal kind of how the same way we heal currently if we have to like off heal in Classic. Because you have intensity this, and then you still have Lunar Guidance for bonus damage and healing, and Dream State for bonus MP5. So you have kind of all the main things you really need in order to be able to like basic heal. You should throw hots and then spam like a down-ranked healing touch. Oh, the hunter got this. Oh, you already enchanted it. That is a really good hunter weapon. Well, both of the tanks like just decide to leave. Oh no. We actually could probably solo tank the rest of this, I think. Curator, you can one tank. I'm trying to think if there's any of these bosses you can't. Princess or Prince, you can one tank. Illhoof, you kind of want two tanks. But I think you technically can one tank. Illhoof's not that bad. Shade of Iran, you don't really even need any tanks. I think we could literally one tank all this. Nether Spite would be a problem, but we don't have to do Nether Spite. Oops. Get my food buff here. There is also like an auto stand-up function too, which did not used to exist. Cool tank chest event? Yeah, no, that's a good question. Probably no one, you know? Hey, what's up with this shitty woke? Like, that avatar looks just like you. We're trying to figure out if we can just solo tank this. I think we can. That Pally was actually not doing very well. Paladins do... Prop Pally seems to do a ton of damage in this dungeon because of all of their different like undead ability things. Just do so much damage in this, at least at this gear level. Everything is undead. Yeah, it makes sense too now why like those Nax trinkets would be really good, because it's just a flat like massive amount of spell power, and it's basically relevant for like every fight in this place. I wonder if I would enjoy Hunter in TBC. Holy OP. Yeah, you could be a shock it in, dude. And just... I wonder how shock it in does. I remember it was actually kind of a thing. It would actually do so much damage. Dude, this guy is... Sky Resto? What the hell? You guys see that? I just inspected the shaman and then it swapped. Oh no, he's Ellie. We don't have... I don't know what he's talking about. I'd rather them give me salve, because I keep ripping aggro. This Drew doesn't know there's another one over there. Yeah. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. That was kind of stressful. I felt like I got a ton of crits right there. Where's this dead person? Reload my UI real quick because my shit was bugging out. These mobs will be kind of hard for the druid because the mana guy isn't going to generate any rage for him. have to just like try and burn down the little worms. Person's dead and just stayed dead. What a glorious run. I'm just gonna try and focus one down. Somebody get aggro, I'm sure. Oh. Pot. My stupid help harm macro. Rejuving me. Moonkins are the best dancers. They definitely are. It's a really OP hidden ratio right there. You get like 10 bonus 10 dance points. There's like, if if you slash dance in front of like Ogremar, like whatever, in any of the major cities, I would say 10% of people stop and either like cheer or like dance or like do something to like interact with you because they love seeing it. You know, I've made tips. Yeah, I've made tips too. People come up and giving me like gold and stuff for just slash dancing in front of the auction house. It's pretty funny. Street performing. Yeah, exactly. I really like the aesthetic of this axe. So many fond memories of this axe and original TBC 14 years ago, whatever, 15 years ago. I don't know what this guy's doing. This guy's in Duratar. Is it difficult or does it feel like a breeze in terms of mechanics and tuning? You mean like Kara specifically? Kara actually feels pretty easy. Balance in general feels good. Kara feels real easy. Heroics actually, like right now in the current gear, if we go and did it went like it did a 5-man heroic, seems to be tougher than it is to like full clear this. I don't know. I don't remember back in the day how it was. So I don't know if this is overtuned or if Car is undertuned and like heroics are overtuned. I don't remember how it used to be. But the heroics honestly for most compared to like most of this feel more difficult than Kara does. Kara feels, as long as you have a full, like a decent group of like decent gear-ish, it's not too bad. One thing that's going to be kind of an issue the first couple weeks, I think, is tank gearing. Because like Prince, for example, and some of the bosses are kind of tough, and like some of the pulls are kind of tough as far as tank survivability. And everyone's got pretty decent gear, so I don't know, maybe in the first week or two of Kara that, you know, if people have greens or like quest items and stuff instead of like their dungeon sets, I could see that being kind of problematic, but we'll have to see. I'm not sure how big of a factor is. I also like haven't really done too many of these like in Discord with people and stuff like that, so there's an element of that kind of communication that we haven't had, and we've still been able to full clear this. So I think it's going to take 2 weeks for attunement, isn't that right? So we won't have Kara the first week or the second week, and it'll come out like the second reset based on like some part of the attunement quest. Back in the day it used to be hard, but that's because of the lack of info most people had. Yeah, the mechanics were new. Yeah, that's true. It is very different, and like the amount of information just known now. Yeah. So I think it'll be pretty easy. But like even Molten Core, for example, like as a comparison in Phase 1, it's not like the raid itself was that difficult, all things considered. But at the very beginning, when you had shitty gear, it was kind of hard because the tanks would die. Like the healers had to actually pay attention and make sure that, you know, the tanks weren't getting topped, or, you know, getting topped off, or if they got hit with some kind of mechanic, like they really had to focus on healing them, otherwise they're gonna die. Now everything is super easy, and this is kind of the same thing, but being in a full pre-raid bis ish or full pre-raid gear, that's something that's going to take like a little while. I mean, that's not something that you're going to necessarily be able to do. So I think people are going to have a pretty significant amount of shittier gear than we have in this run and be trying to pull it off. So I think for the first month or so, it'll be a pretty good challenge. I mean, I want it to be tough. I don't want it to just be like you just go in and just steamroll it. I mean, that's kind of how it looks like on beta, but I mean, like we have Exalted with every reputation, which you're more than likely not going to have. I already have a few epics. You have like the good trinkets from being revered with both factions. You have, you know, the Exalted weapon, and everyone's kind of in this category. Like the Bear Druid has the Exalted Mace from Cenarian Expedition. It's very unlikely you have all of those things in your first few weeks of Kara. Very unlikely. PvP is what most people will AFK and do, I think. Yeah, I think so. But I think you'll get to having most of your characters kind of on maintenance mode pretty quickly as far as PvE goes, because Gruul's Lair is very quick and is not that difficult. Magtheridon's Lair was actually pretty difficult, but you're going to have, if you have a 25-man raid, you'll have like one night of raiding, basically. Assuming that Magtheridon's, I don't know how long it's going to take for people to be able to clear that easily, because I think you're going to have to run like really cheesy comps to pull it off. But assuming once those get to where they're both killable, you'll be able to do those in, you know, an hour and a half probably between them. And then you have Kara. And like Kara in a full group is like an hour and a half, 2 hours if you have like a competent group that knows how to do it. So the maintenance of it will be pretty easy. So I think I'm planning on having 2 or 3 characters that I realistically probably clear the raids in like the first phase at least. pre-raid bisc gear isn't fast. Yeah, hype for the good grind. Yeah, exactly. Like I really enjoy the gearing process actually. Like in this game in general, like getting to you know, trying to achieve a BIS or like having a goal of gear that you want these specific pieces. These are your best pieces. I actually do enjoy that part of this game a lot. Oh, is he immune? He is, dude. He's immune to Arcane. So we have to literally only Wrath and Insect Swarm. We also get to kill the flares here, but I was a little late swapping to that one. Hitting the wrong button. So the way Curator works, for those of you that don't know, is he basically goes through his mana. And so once his mana gets down to 0, he has to cast an evocation type ability. And then while he's casting that evo, he takes increased damage. So you kind of wait and hold your cooldowns for that. Am I going to get healed? I feel like I need to heal myself. So I'm going to save my on-use trinkets for when he evos, and I'm going to pop my trees a little bit before. Pop my trees now. Big damage here. You don't even worry about the don't even worry about the little guy. I'm not even gonna cast damn dude, spamming Wrath with Bloodlust is nuts. Solid damage though, right? 1100 DPS. 1100 DPS. Look, our trees did 10,000 damage. Damn. I really want my tier gloves. Saw a little healer shoulders there. One thing too that I wanted to mention, that I wanted to kind of do a video kind of comparing this, but I mean, these are obviously healing shoulders. These aren't super ideal, but these still even give good spell damage. Like even the healing gear still gives decent spell power, but like by comparison, these are 19 spell damage. So if you have like Mantle of the Blackwing Cabal from BWL, you have more damage than the epic level 70 healing gear, which still has a really significant, it's like, you know, whatever it is, 30% of its damage or whatever. So it's, I mean, it's still pretty significant. A lot of the gear that I have is going to last me all the way up to getting like tier 4 and stuff, which is actually really cool. I was watching, there's a video or like clip or something that I'd seen earlier today about Asmongold talking about it. And I thought he was reacting to another video, but it was a great point of the new expansions, the new raid tiers, all of this stuff shouldn't make everything else previously feel obsolete for like immediately. So like in Classic, the expansions Classic to TBC did such a good job of it. Like if you did actually play the end of Classic, that gear is actually good all the way up to the next raid tier, and even arguably into the next raid tier until you get to like certain break points. Like for example, like Resto Druid, I feel like full tier 3 is going to be better until you start getting, you know, whatever 3/4 of your tier 4. Oh, are these the spell immune guys? Oh, this is what we have to do on these. We equip our Feral Staff. We should have to cat DPS. These guys are all immune to all spell damage. Uh-oh. That guy's not. Should we try and B-res? Oh he fell. He went another way. Put full hots. Oh, we're on this. We need to swap our weapons. We got another one? Why the hell did we go this way? That's so dumb. I don't know, like, we don't save any time doing that because we still have to clear half of that shit going through the room, no matter what way we go. I think the hunter pets or warlock pets pulled. I think the pets didn't get dismissed and they ran around the side. I'm real excited that I'm going to get to have my Warlord title for all of TBC. I get on my clone character, there's like a little drop down and I can click Warlord. Pretty cool. Kind of still don't know if it makes the grind worth it, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's my favorite title in the game is Warlord, and I actually really like the Battle Master title, which comes from doing all of the Battleground achievements. Because both of those are very obvious indicators that you PvP a lot. Because even though the other one's just achievement based and it's not like rating or honor or anything, it's all the achievements, it's still, some of the achievements are really hard to get if you don't, I haven't gotten it. You also have to get it on one character, which kind of sucks. That's the reason I haven't gotten it. If I combined all my achievements across my characters, I would have it, but too much ADD. Finger with stam int and MP5, huh? Yeah, these mobs are rough because they're literally spell immune. And so if you have a pretty caster heavy group, it's a really, really brutal. Damn, dude, we get people leaving, people going offline. Let's just finish this. This is not that hard. Well, at the very least, even if this group does fall apart, at the very least, I do feel like I got a good kind of like test of balance. And I feel like we're definitely competitive with most of the other DPS. Everyone's pretty similarly geared. And I do think we'll gain a pretty big power spike from the tailoring gear compared to some of this stuff. We'll have to see. I also don't know how good our tier 4 is for us, because it's not itemized super offensively. Like the set bonus just gives us mana back and reduces innervate, so it's all mana stuff, which could be fine. There's going to be definitely value in this set from like a mana regen perspective, but overall DPS, I don't know if it's going to be the pick. I feel like the tailoring gear, there's two, what is it, Spellfire, and then it's, what is the other one, Spell Strike, is that what it is? sure this is the right. No, see, this one's not the right. TBC. Yeah, see, so it's a ton of damage, like, by comparison. So this belt's 18 crit and 50 arcane damage, 18 int, and 2 sockets. This is the belt. So by comparison, this blue has 20 int, 20 spirit, 20 crit. So basically all the same across the board, but it's got twice as much spell power. It has no spirit, but we have 2 gems, so it's even more than that because you can gem super offensive even if you just went straight spell power gems. So it's like a massive boost spell power wise to the other stuff that you have access to. And then let's like compare it to the let me find the other set. Okay, so like the spell strike legs, for example, 46 damage, 22 hit, and 26 crit. That's pretty massive. And so these have 44 damage, 25 crit, so about the same, but no hit, no sockets. But they do have a ton of int and stam. See, and these have much less int, so like 25 less int. But there's 3 sockets. But point being is it's still really good. And then the 2-piece of this set with the hood and the pants gives you a chance to proc 95 spell power. So it's like a little spell power trinket proc. Let's look at the other ones. Gloves. Okay, let's look at robes. I have like an okay robe. So 28 crit, 2 gems, 17 stamps, 72 damage. So less int, more crit, way more spell damage, and sockets. So from an offensive perspective, it's just so much more spell power between this, the belt, which is like another probably 30, and the gloves, 2 sockets, crit, and 50. 2 sockets, crit, and 30. So it's like probably about 100 spell power more than what I have. Pretty close to 100 spell power more than what I have, and what I have is like the pre-raid gear. Dude, I think this guys, I think this group might be a little scuffed. Let's look up Druid tier 4 TBC. Oh, it's this tab. I was like, where is it? Wait, I want to see the actual... So chest, 70 damage, 28 crit, 2 gem slots. I need the TBC WoW head link because the other ones have, it's like the updated stat sheets. This isn't right either. TBC Wildhead. What is it called? Chest piece of Malorn harness? Is that what it is? Yeah. Pharaoh gear is itemized a little odd. That's right. Let's use this. So the chest piece, 46 spell power, 19 hit. 27 hit. Yeah, it's going to be tough. The other thing too is that you're going to have less overall stats, right? But the other thing is this 3-set bonus is actually really offensive. 7% of your total intellect. And these set bonuses are all mana. So especially as people start getting more geared and like the speed run kind of scenario happens where people are just really clearing stuff quickly, I feel like this is going to be better because you lose out on, you know, some survivability and some longevity with this set, but you have overall just more offensive stats. And the set bonus, 7% of your int. Let me see my current gear. This talent is 25%, so it's about a third of this, and I want to say that that's around another 20-25 spell power all the time. So you're going to gain with that set bonus probably close to like 120 spell power, which is a lot. I mean, if you think of that compared to what I'm wearing right now, assuming my crit and everything else is about the same overall, that's, you know, a 10-15% spell damage increase. That's not, I mean, that's not nothing. That's a pretty big amount. And I think depending on the procs per minute, this set I could see also being really good because it's only 2 pieces. So you can have this set the same time because this is your helm and this is your helm and legs. And then this one, no, not that one. This one is chest, gloves, belt. So that still leaves you a bunch of other slots to get other pieces that have a little more stats and stuff on them as well. But that way you get both set bonuses, and I think that's going to be the go-to. I just think that's going to be the most optimized overall damage. How does this stuff compare to tier 5? I'm assuming we just use full tier 5. This is gonna do the same thing, dude. What's our 2-piece? When you shift out of Moonkin form, your next regrowth spell costs 450 less mana. That's kind of a lame set bonus. Increase your Starfire damage against targets affected with Moonfire or Insect Swarm by 10%. That's insane. That's huge. That's a lot. 10% buff on Starfire is going to be really big. This is a weird set bonus though. Regalia. Okay, so it's like a chest piece. So the tier 5 I think is obviously for sure going to be worth upgrading because oh no, I'm in combat. Screwed. Yeah, we're dead. This helm is good though. Yellow socket with a meta gem is going to be really good, and it's itemized really well. We're only going to want the 4-piece. I don't think we'll want 5 pieces. I think we'll have better other pieces to use. Spellfire set, and what was the pants set? It's Spellfire and Spell Strike are the 2 sets. So Spell Strike is like, from what I understand, is the basic one. That's like, it's only 2 pieces and it's all spell damage types, like just spell damage period. Spellfire is the one that's arcane and fire damage bonuses. So this one is going to be a little bit more niche because this one will make you want to basically just cast Starfire and Moonfire only. But yeah, well, we'll have to see how they do. What I'm probably gonna end up doing is making like one of the sets. I'll probably make the Spell Strike set first, and then kind of see what the numbers play out to be. It's a big part of it for me, at least, is gonna be how difficult it is to craft, because I'm not gonna pay to craft it super early. I'm already tailoring, so I'm just gonna try and probably do it myself or buy mats from friends and stuff, rather than just like try and go buy it on the auction house. I also don't know how many people are gonna be fire when it comes to mages or arcane. I don't think any will be arcane really early on, so it might be kind of easy for us to get Spellfire cooldowns. We'll have to see. I like to be able to do either. Yeah, well then, yeah, like, and that's like a good example, right? Like if you like that flexibility, it's like just get the Spell Strike and just try and get your tier gear. That's only 2 pieces that you have to craft instead of 3. It's more universal as far as the use cases where you can actually just use that gear. Do you have mana problems? No, not really. Not really. Between mana potions are a 2-minute cooldown. So if you pop these early, and the fact that we can cast Innervate while we're in Moonkin form, and it's more normal to not have to spend your Innervate on healers necessarily, you can use it for yourself. So all in all, it feels good. It feels fine. The other thing too is you can actually downrank rank 1 Starfire, and you don't lose very much DPS, and you basically like get mana back while you're doing that. Here, Boomkins represent. There it is. There it is, dude. There it is. They're all tailored. Yeah, they're all tailoring sets, Jessica. So if you see the set bonus, see where that gold text is where it says 0 of 3? What that should say is it should say requires tailoring. And you see up at the top, see where it says requires Spellfire tailoring up underneath the level cap. This is Spellfire specific. The other one, I think you only need to be, not that one. You only need to have, oh, did I get rid of it? I did. I think you just have to have any kind of tailoring. I don't think the Spell Strike set is specific to a subcategory. Finish buffing everyone. It's here at least. Cast our trees. Oh, we lost our Warlock. It's interesting. So if we lose our Warlock, I think it's probably going to be better for us to spam Wrath with our current gearing. With no Curse of Elements. wonder if we can get the shamans to drop any, I'm just gonna die here. Shoot, I have to go repair. We're kind of far from the, we can accept that. I need to hurt though. That's so annoying. I don't know how I'm gonna get back in. We lost our warlock too. Are we bumping in here? What? What's up, Intentional? How you doing, man? We're trying, we're trying. Oh, thanks for all the follows and stuff, guys. I don't have any notification stuff set up on OBS. So thank you for the follows. Thanks for the sub, Loopy. I appreciate that, man. Is it unlocked now, though? I don't think I can get into the back door by myself. Oh, they sell it now? Are you kidding me? I already left. The flying is so slow. For I was 60%. Dude, it is really slow. It's like, I'm like literally, if I'm like moving around chat, I'm like, I'm just gonna mount up on my ground mount and go run around. Like, this takes too long. Yeah, we're doing, overall though, we're doing pretty decent damage, I would say, compared to other classes. We'll have to see. I'm really curious to see how other specs scale when it comes to their gearing, as far as like tier 4 and stuff like that. I don't think we're going to be particularly strong in tier 4, but I do think we'll be really strong in tier 5 and tier 6. We'll still have like all that great utility, but I think the tier bonuses, the tier bonus for tier 6 I know is really good. The tier bonus for the 4-piece for tier 5 seems pretty solid, and I think we'll just scale really well with just spell power and stuff later into the game. So I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to the PvE content a lot more than I was expecting I would. I don't have the key though, someone's gonna have to let me in. I didn't know it's at the vendor now. Oh, I almost jumped off. Did none of us have the key? How good do these shoulders look, though? Oh, hold on, Shadow might. This tier 4 is such a good looking set. The full set looks so good. Tier 4 for most classes is just so clean. Look like they're for Paladin? Yeah, that's gotta look like Paladin type gear. Yeah, it definitely could be. This is such a struggle. I don't know why this is so tough. This guy's just dying to random stuff by himself. This guy's just dying to random stuff by himself. Dude. He just leaves randomly. So what do you guys think they're going to end up doing for the classic era servers? So I know initially they act like every server is going to be its own server. So if you play on Herod, you're going to have Herod Classic Era, and it's going to be its own server. But I feel like they're going to have to merge some servers, because I think on Herod, I think we'll be okay because it's populated enough. But I think on other servers that are less populated, I feel like you're not going to have enough people on the Classic Era servers for them to really survive. So I feel like they're going to have to merge at some point, which I don't think will be a big deal, because I think you'll just have it where it says like Herod or something, or it'll only like your Ogrimmar, your major cities will stay your server. I don't know. There's some ways I'm sure they could do it, but I feel like some servers are going to have a hard time. Maybe they'll allow people like transfer over. I don't know. Losing steam quick. We'll see if we can fill these last couple spots here pretty quick. Then I'm down to stay, but I need to go to bed here pretty soon. We've had a lot of issues trying to just get people to stay. Everyone just goes offline. It's the one downside with beta, being able to just like remake characters. It's like you go through part of it and just go offline and just don't even come back, and it doesn't matter. No one's gonna remember your name or anything. What are your thoughts on Aldor versus Scryer? I believe I'm gonna go Scryer, because Scryer has this, which is gonna be very good, because I think us hitting hit cap early is gonna be real tough, and it's only a 1.5 minute cooldown, so this is just a really strong trinket that I could see us using for a long time. That's kind of the main reason. Everything else is pretty close. I know the enchants are a little bit different. Spell crit and spell damage. I don't know what the Aldor one is, because on the beta you can only get one. Like you start off as Scryers. So that's just what you have to see. I don't know that the shoulder enchant makes too big of a difference where I would pick strictly based off of that. And I just know this trinket is so good. So I'm leaning towards that, but I think generally speaking, don't most casters go Scryers? Isn't that kind of universally what because of the enchants in that trinket? I could be misremembering that, but that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. But I think either way, it's not going to really matter too much early on. I think a lot of people too, if you played in Classic, like for me, for example, like I have Toep, right? So this is obviously a big upgrade from Toep, but Toep is still good. So it's like, if I didn't have this trinket, it's not like this is going to be a 0 value slot. Like I'm going to have gear even that I have right now that's still decent, that, you know, I would prefer to have like something like these or like Neff's tier or something like that. But if you don't have it, you know, I don't know. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal one way or another. I'm curious how difficult they're going to be to level. I don't remember it being too bad back in the day. I remember them being pretty easy to farm up the mats for the rep stuff. Thanks, I was thinking the same. Since I'm rerolling from Resto to Balance, I don't have many DPS trinkets from Classic. Yeah, well, the other thing too is any of the heal stuff that you have, I don't know how geared you are in Classic, but like Rejuvenating Gem, for example, the healing on it is also going to have passive spell power. And same with like the Druid class trinket from, what's it from, Dire Maul or whatever, where it's like 44 bonus healing. Like it's going to be 44 bonus healing and, you know, 19 bonus spell damage or whatever the number is going to be. So even if you go in full healing gear into TBC launch, you'll still have some pretty decent stuff. It's not going to be as good as if you have like really good balance gear, but it'll still be really good. You'll still be able to use it. Like if I was in full BIS healing gear from like Nax and everything right now, I could go into TBC just with all my healing gear on and still have probably, I think, pretty close to like 500 spell power, maybe a little more, maybe like 550 spell power, which is pretty nuts. But you gain a ton, especially like in that gear where you have a lot of int and stuff. You gain a lot of value from Lunar Guidance, because 25% of your intellect is that's a big chunk. Like right now we have 400 int, so this is giving me 100 spell power, right? And you're actually like in full tier 3, you're actually pretty close to the same stat value, because I have no int on my rings, and a lot of like the tier 3 is pretty similar in value to this as far as int and stam goes. So you're going to be gaining about 100 spell power just from the Lunar Guidance talent. Not to mention you should have a ton of mana regen and stuff because of all the MP5 and Dream State also scaling off your intellect. It'll be really good. So it's like, if that's another thing I didn't really think about early on, is I have good balance gear, but I honestly think for a lot of the content I'm going to just wear my tier 3 because we're not going to need the spell power early on. Or sorry, we're not going to need we're not going to need the straight up damage as much. And we're going to gain so much stam, so much int, so much MP5. Hit won't be an issue because we're going to have this hit talent. So like rocking full healing gear, or not this one, but this one. Rocking full healing gear in places where the DPS is pretty close. Like Bloodvine, for example, it's like, okay, well, Bloodvine might have 10 more spell damage on it, but your tier 3 is going to have like 15 more intellect, which is going to equate to like 5 more-ish spell power. So you're not going to be actually losing that much because of all the bonus intellect you're going to have on your healing stuff. I really like the Druid tier 3. That's definitely one of my like most favorite sets that has like aesthetically. Just I remember back in the day seeing people with tier 3 and it being so cool and so rare to see like people with tier 3. It's different now. So many people have it by comparison, at least currently for like on our server. But I remember back in the day, you see like a warrior with like tier 3 shoulders, you're like, dude, that guy is so cool. You see like a druid, you're like, oh my gosh, like no one must die when he's healing in a group because he's got tier 3. Like that guy's so good. I just remember thinking it's just like, it was the coolest stuff. I'm like, dude, those guys must be so good at this game. That's probably so hard to get. But then that nostalgia factor for me, like I just remember thinking the druid set, the shaman set I really like as well, and the warrior set I really like. Those are like the ones that really stuck out to me as far as aesthetically being so cool. Definitely gonna be my transmog set for running around Ogrimmar for a while, even at TBC launch. I wish you could see. I wish like if you're wearing tier 3 and you're in Moonkin form that you had like a glow, or it did something where you visually could be like, oh yeah, I have full tier 3. I'm just in my Moonkin form. Like it's no big deal. This guy's just spamming trade boards, not finding anyone. Yeah. If we lose anyone else, I'm gonna have to call it a night because it's gonna just get too late, and we're just gonna end up sitting here for an hour doing nothing. At the very least, though, we did get some of the boss down. I really wanted to try Prince and see how the Prince fight went because that's a longer fight for sure. I'd also like to see how Shade of Iran went because Shade's a tougher fight. That's usually in all the groups I've run. That's the first time that groups will wipe is on Shade. Shade's because the interrupts are pretty important, so you have to have a few DPS or the tanks being responsible for interrupting. What? The guy just typed RO and then just logged off. Alright guys, well I think that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be our Kara testing. This is probably gonna be the last time. I might hop on and mess with some arenas in the beta. I'm not too interested in doing too much more testing because I actually don't want to burn myself out for TBC. So I've actually been playing alt type classes and specs more than I've been playing Balanced Druid because I know I want to play Balanced Druid and I don't want to like get burnt out on it. I've already played it so much over the last year. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to TBC launch here. I do plan on trying, so I have Nax. I don't think I'll probably stream it, but I do have Nax this week, and it's gonna be our last Nax before pre-patch. Obviously, I am planning on going back balance on pre-patch, and I would really like to try and raid Nax as balance in the pre-patch. I don't know with this guild. I don't know for sure if that's going to be possible or not, but that's what I'm going to try and do. That's going to be my goal because I think that would be pretty fun. I also think there's a good chance that we have enough people come back, or at least a good chunk of people come back from not playing, like in preparation in the pre-patch, that we might be able to put a Nax together as well. Maybe not the first week, but maybe the second week. It's going to depend kind of. There's a lot of stuff to do. The next couple of weeks are going to be pretty busy. We're going to be leveling alts. I'm going to try and turn the stream on every now and then whenever I'm kind of able to. It looks like at least OBS is working fine tonight, it seems. So that's good. So you guys can expect, I'll do my best to try and turn on the stream as much as possible when I have enough energy to talk and hang out. So. But thanks for watching, guys. Like always, I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys got to see some of the fights, see some balanced Druid in the raid, and getting excited here for launch in the next few weeks. Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.